A chat that just kind of executes itself there, gentlemen. Here's the way we stand in the NFC. A lot less wiggle room in the NFC than the AFC in terms of seeding possibilities. The Saints are locked into the 1. The Cowboys are locked into the 4. The 2 is currently the Rams. 3 currently the Bears. Rams lose, Bears win. That'll flip-flop. Rams win, they'll remain the number 2 seed. Seahawks and Vikings. Seahawks are going to the postseason. Vikings have to win or have an Eagles loss to keep that wild card spot right now. But we just saw the little video of Nick Foles.
Yeah.
The Eagles, I mean, here it is. Is this last year or is this year?
I know.
He comes in for the injured Wentz, and the offense picks it up. They average more yards and more points a game this year and have a better win-loss record. What is it about Foles?
I think Nick Foles is just playing stress-free. He's playing carefree. He's going into a situation where he can just go out there and just be himself. The pressure is not on him. The pressure is on Carson Wentz. And I think when you look at that kind of pressure that Carson Wentz is feeling, he's trying too hard. He's pressing too much. And these are throws that he can make in his sleep. The same throws Nick Foles are making right now, Carson Wentz can make those throws. He was on an MVP run last year. So I think because of the success he had last year in his rookie year, and then on top of that, they won the Super Bowl. I think because Nick Foles won the Super Bowl and it wasn't Carson Wentz, that's constantly in the back of his mind. Then not only that, they built a statue of him outside. so on top of all this pressure that Carson Wentz is feeling of trying to get back to the MVP form, he's reminded every day of who won the Super Bowl. So if the season does not end in a Super Bowl win for him, I think he's constantly reminded. And I think that statue is going to haunt him for the rest of his career as long as it's out there.
We're not saying that Foles is purely a better quarterback than Wentz necessarily. You're just saying that the chemistry of all the things involved adds to Foles being able to throw for 471 yards.
Exactly. I think it's just the chemistry, and I think he's just pressing too much. When I was in New Orleans, I split time with Pierre Thomas, so I knew I had limited opportunities to run the football. And because of that, I pressed too much sometimes. I was second-guessing myself. And that's all I see with Carson Wentz. He's just second-guessing himself.
I got to know these guys a little bit in the offseason, Wentz and Foles. They are actually very close friends. They root for each other, and that's not like faking it for the television cameras. They root for the other guy. So it is Foles until and unless Wentz could get better. They've got to win at Washington and then get help from Minnesota. Minnesota or Philadelphia, probably going to be the last. One of those two is going to be the last team in the NFC. Who would be more dangerous in the postseason?
Be more dangerous, I think it's the Philadelphia Eagles. But the only problem with that, Scott, is I think they dug a hole for themselves that's too deep for them to get out of.
They need help, and Minnesota doesn't need help. They control their path.
I actually think Minnesota is going to beat the Chicago Bears this week in Minnesota.
Wait, head up, or you think the Bears are going to throttle back?
I think the Bears are going to throttle back just a little bit. They're going to throttle back a little bit. They're still playing, but it's going to be a point in time in this game where it's going to get like, you know what?
Well, the Rams could be up 28-0 or something like that, and then the Bears have nothing to play for.
Exactly, and this reminds me of the Indianapolis Colts in 2004, right? We had to play the Denver Broncos in Denver, right? We played them. They beat us. And we were the highest seed. Even though we didn't have to play for anything, they were the highest seed. They beat us, and we had to play them again the next week, the first round of the playoffs. And we knocked them handily. We took it to them. So this kind of reminds me of that. And plus, Minnesota needs to prove a point. We're going to see a lot of Dalvin Cook.
Well, if it's Minnesota at the 6 and then Chicago stays at the 3, that is the matchup in the first round of the playoffs, except it would be Minnesota at Chicago, unlike here in Week 17. All right, we're just getting started with all the Christmas fun right here on NFL Total Access. Of course, no games today, but there have been games on Christmas days past. Single game record. How about Boomer Esiason, guys, back in the day, throwing for 367 back in 1989. Aaron Rodgers had a 5-touchdown game. Olandis Gary, there's a little blast from the past.
1,000-yard season.
Almost a couple decades ago. He went for 185 yards. And then Kevin Williams back in 95 with 203 on Christmas Day.
We need more Christmas Day games.